Hi, blessings, everyone. I'm just checking this. I'm not sure about the technology here. Anyway, I'll just go ahead. I wanted to share a message about our connection with Mother Earth. My own connection with the Earth has been a history of sensitivity that I had, and that really showed itself round about the late 90s. I had had sensitivities my whole life that I couldn't explain, and it's still the same, to be quite honest. It's very difficult to put into words, but I do share these messages because I have been asked to share the messages, and I have people who come to me who are looking for support in the way of answers for themselves, and I seem to be able to help with that. And I've been doing this really since 1988, but around about the late 90s, first of all, 1988 was a very powerful year. If you're aware of the harmonic convergence in 1988, I wasn't at the time, but was experiencing a great deal of earth energy connection, and it was coming to me and opening my heart. I had been traveling and was in Denmark and living in a pine forest, and I felt myself open in a way that I hadn't experienced before. Also, I wasn't able to explain what I was experiencing because it was so deep. But the result was that over the course of a few months, and I came back to the UK, I was opening children's daycare nursery in my home. And the energies that I was experiencing, I was having severe reactions through the body, and it was like poison coming through my system. Again, no explanation, and I was very afraid because I had this strong feeling that I was going through what I would call a death experience, which is something that I describe in my book, Healing from the Heart. Now, when I talk about these death experiences, in the beginning, I wasn't able to describe, again, what was happening, but I was also very connected in with my transformation that I was experiencing. So the transformation was extremely powerful, and it was the start of my journey into myself. Over the course of a couple of years, I had treatments from a herbalist, and I found that the herbal treatments, and also being listened to, someone who was actually there and listening to me, that really supported me. And I found my immune system, which had been very low, and my body regaining its strength. So there have been periods of change that I experienced up until we came into this new millennium, and this experience of being the healer, which really came through in 1995, and being a multidimensional soul through my spiritual awakening. Deep sensitivity to the earth that had always been there. And this is very common for women, particularly. It's not that men don't have it, they do. But from a feminine standpoint, our connection with the earth and the womb is really, really powerful. And I was very uncomfortable and also very afraid. So I had been feeling lots of emotions coming up to the end of the 90s, and I wrote my book in 1999 and had that published in 2005. But the book was really this description of my spiritual awakening, and also this experience of rebirth and death that I write about, where I was continually feeling that I was dying. The death was not a physical death, but it was a very powerful energy of release. That's the only way I can describe it. So, coming up to the end of the 90s, very clear, strong messages coming through, and also having insights into what was happening in this new century that we're in. And I had been experiencing these multi-level and multi-dimensional experiences since 1995. So there's been a big learning experience for me in terms of my own relationship with Mother Earth. As a healer, I feel that in the West, that a great deal of sickness and what is called sickness is caused by our lack of connection with Mother Earth. And I see it in the environment that I'm living in Edinburgh. People are not aware in this part of the world of what they're feeling or they're experiencing. They can't describe their experiences in terms of their feelings, and also they are very dependent on the system and on the medical system, where at the least little twinge in the body and they're off to see a medic and get advice and usually medication. And I observe and watch this. There's also a great deal of there's a great deal of souls wandering around in Edinburgh. Edinburgh is a very old city, as I've mentioned earlier, and it does have a very ancient source of energy going way, way back. It's been very troubled in this country and its history. And there's a sense of this energy from these ancient times. It still exists on the street in Edinburgh. As I walk around, I see souls walking around. I'm saying souls because they don't feel like people to me, as in they're in their physical body. I feel that there's lots of energy walking around in Edinburgh. It may sound weird, and I'm sure it happens in other places as well. But in Edinburgh, it's very unsettled, I feel, in terms of this ability to feel. So therefore, I feel it's a contamination from the past that's walking around on the streets, where there are individuals who are heavily, heavily medicated, who have probably been into the mental health system here, and or maybe in the care of the mental health system, and they are being medicated and are walking around on the streets with really no connection with anything. I feel it's very uncomfortable for me, actually, to experience this, because I am very sensitive to energy, so I can feel it, and I sense it. It's an interesting city because this energy is everywhere. There isn't any areas that don't have this energy. Maybe some have less, but the energy is there. There isn't any segregation, which is beautiful, of course. And everything is intertwined, and it does blend and mix in an interesting way. And it's also become extremely multicultural, which is just beautiful. And the cultures that are coming into the city from these amazing cultures that are connected with spirit, Africa and Asian cultures, India, the Middle East, the Arab cultures, where there's these energies walking around on the streets, which I'm laughing about this because I find this really beautiful. So you might find a guy who's just come out the mosque, for example, who's walking the same street as a guy who's medicated very heavily. So you have this, this being of light wandering around next to a guy who is he's just not here, basically. He's there's nothing there in terms of any depth, or it's just a physical body walking around. So there's these beautiful energies that come from these different cultures that are full of prayer. And these are the cultures that I draw towards me and I tend to work with, where there's recognition there, and they recognize me, which is wonderful. And I feel them as part of me as well. Of course, I feel their family. So the earth connection that I was speaking about, and this sensitivity that is in the earth at the present time, I started really tuning into it in the early 2001, probably around 2002, when the tsunamis were starting to really amp up, and there was lots of devastation and lots of loss of life. It was horrific. And I was feeling these energies in the body before the event. And it took a while to recognize what the experience was. And it's been a journey for me also, living here in a Western culture, but not feeling Western, which is interesting, but also feeling this deep connection in with Mother Earth. And also the sensitivity that is around in the earth here, because there isn't a real sense of gratitude towards the earth that I see with cultures that are indigenous. South America, India, Africa. There are prayers for Mother Earth. There are blessings, and everything that is connected in with Mother Earth is really recognized as part of their being. So in essence, the cultures that are connected in more fully with Mother Earth, and where the Earth is being really are much healthier than the Western routes. In the UK, people live in their heads, the people that are living in this part of the world. And I'm saying this as a generalization. There's nothing personal here. But I do see that there is a need for a healthy existence to be rooted into Mother Earth. And there is a growing awareness of this at the present time, which is wonderful. So we need to know that within ourselves we have this connection with Mother Earth, that we are the earth, that nature is our life in terms of our true history. Our ancestors are these roots into the earth, and these indigenous roots that are connected with these ancient sources of energy. They are a part of our structure, in our bones, in our teeth, in everything that is solid matter within us. It's all part of this connection with Mother Earth and these ancient roots that we have. So in essence, we are all one family, and it's interesting because this sense of being one and being one being, and this awareness of this, is our fullness of life, where we open and expand and connect with one another through our hearts, and this connection with our higher selves, and this root into Mother Earth, which is blessing each moment. Our connection at soul level. And there is an increase in our sensitivity if we're experiencing the crystalline energies very deeply at the present time. We're experiencing also this deep soul connection, this soul connection, this connection with the sun, and this eternal root into the cosmos, and this connection with the sun as a being, the sun being a god, which goes back to the ancient times, where the sun was always recognized as a very large presence on the earth, and was honored and respected. So the earth connection, as I was talking about my own connection with Mother Earth, as I was connecting more deeply in through the body with the experience of the movement in the earth, and then these large shifts that were happening, they started around about 2002. Then I had this experience as time went on of literally becoming Mother Earth, where I would be connecting and traveling through my multidimensional self and through the body, and where there was a root of expansion there, where I felt myself become one with the issues on the earth and the shifts in consciousness that were happening in the earth. So I would travel and meet people in the cultures before there was any movement. So, for example, when the earthquake happened in Haiti a number of years ago, I had been there a couple of nights before and had been speaking to people and asking them to get out of that area, because the earth was cracking under my feet and I could feel the movement in the earth. The earthquake didn't actually happen for a couple of days, and I wasn't sure of the location of the experience I was having until there was a message came through about the earthquake in Haiti, and I was able to feel that. Also, this deep sensitivity and love for Mother Earth, of course, because she takes care of us through everything that is abundant there in the earth. She nourishes and feeds us. And I'm sure I don't have to explain these things, but the journey, my own personal journey, has been really amazing as I really felt these ancient sources come through me. And there's a calling there to go, and not to go in, but I'm already in it, and I'm being in the connection with these roots in Mother Earth. So what I experience, which is what I wanted to share, is that when I work, and I'm saying not working, but when I actually go to places through meditation and share energy with the movement in the earth and anything that is shifting very fast there, I I channel, I guess, my higher self, and for the highest good of the planet, and share energy with the wave or the breakage that's happening in the earth, and speak to the earth. Now, I've found through doing this, and I was doing this with a group, which I've probably mentioned in a previous video. I was doing this with the Children of the Sun for a number of years. But I also was being called in on my own at any given time to connect and to assist in the healing of the earth. The aftermath of these experiences that I was having and these events, I would always get a message back from Mother Earth. It may be something that is quite subtle, but it would be a message of gratitude that would come back from her. I was working. I have to stop saying this word working. I was called to go to Australia and to a huge wave that was happening over there, and where there was a very strong sense of danger and predictions of loss as this was approaching. And when I went into the energy and I spoke to the wave, and I saw her diminish, literally. She became calm, and also there was a sense of connection there. Now, I feel this is important for individuals to recognize that we have the capacity to change the earth. And it's really important to acknowledge this, that we can assist in this planetary shift at this level of devastation. This experience that I was having with this massive wave, the aftermath was it was much better than it had been predicted. And there was a flow that came in and a harmony that hadn't been there. And yeah, the day after this experience, I was resting one evening, and it was about 11 o'clock in the evening, and there was a huge thunderbolt outside my window, and I felt it come through my nervous system and waken me, but also energize me. And when I woke up, I was like, wow, what was that? And I experienced this sense of Mother Earth coming back and sharing with me her energy. And she was saying, thank you. Thank you for assisting. Gratitude. My heart was wide open. It was beautiful. And I've had many experiences like this in many different ways. So the message that I'm giving out today is that we're not separate from the earth. We are Mother Earth. We have the ability to change this imbalance that we're experiencing through changing ourselves, through also saying prayers and meditating and blessing our earth, to also, when there's a feeling inside the body and you start to recognize that there is a shift happening in the earth, to speak to the energy and ask for it to settle, and for the area of the earth that this is coming from to be at peace. Use your own guidance that comes through. Really feel how connected you are with Mother Earth. And you will find that your life takes on a balance there. And also there's a unity that is experienced, where you're guided how to live from a place of spirit, and where life and life force is inside, and it's experienced through everything that is natural. It takes away the concerns about money and everyday existence. And everything falls into place in terms of our life experience. It's really, really beautiful. And for the health of ourselves, and in terms of the balance and being fully connected in a natural way, where we find that we have no need for this illusion that is in the world. The illusion dissolves, and you've also this sense of love coming through, where we're walking the earth through our spirit and with a deep love in our bones and every cell of our being. So today, I'm just going to do a short meditation. There has been an increase in the numbers on, in Indonesia, and the devastation there is. I feel concerned about there was a time factor that concerns me, is that there wasn't the sense of warning that was clear, and it wasn't expected. There was a message that everything, there had been a warning, and then there was a message that it was okay, that it was a false warning. And there's been lots of these false warnings over the past 2 or 3 years, as the duality is increasing in the sense of the illusion breaking. And there's been a number of warnings that haven't come to fruition. And also, as I spoke about this earlier, also in another video, but the recognition that as the illusion breaks, that there is a sense of depth there within ourselves that can recognize what is real, because realities are shifting all the time. And so to know what is real in terms of anything greater than ourselves, it's coming through, and the messages that are being shared prior to these events are not true, or not clear. It's not to say that they're not happening. It's just to say that it's unpredictable. It feels very unpredictable. Something I feel it is to do with the message that's coming through today, of us really needing to connect in with Mother Earth. And the more that we're connected in with Mother Earth and show gratitude, the less that we'll have these events. And also there will be more clarity in terms, and safety in terms of our own lives. It's not good when there is this devastation in the Pacific, and we're living in if we're living in a society and in a culture where we say, oh well, that we just ignore it, or we just put it to one side as if it didn't happen. It is happening, and it's happening to all of us, regardless of whether we're actually in the area or not. we're actually experiencing at some level in the body. Some people will get sick, others will be exhausted. There's different symptoms that come through. Maybe a headache. It may just feeling really, there's a detox happening. We're detoxing every time there is an event happen in the earth that is creating this devastation that I'm speaking about. So I do meditation just to finish, and I'm just settling in here. I'm just really asking for this wisdom to come through and be shared. Also, before I start, the women of the earth are being gifted with these ancient wisdoms very, very strongly at the present time. There are imprints in the earth that we're experiencing these imprints inside the body, and we're being called to use our gifts, to use that ancient source of healing that is part of us, to bring it through and bring it out. The feminine is everything. To be, I was going to say it's many, many things, but we're connected with all of life. Everything is interconnected. There is no separation. And for women that are going through change, there is a shaman inside each of us. The shamanic perspective is this ability to move in and out of spaces and places within the context of our energy, and to feel into these areas. We do our work there. That is work. We protect the earth. We protect our families. We protect the global family. There is a purpose in this energy coming through. So for any of the women out there, if there's anyone listening and you're experiencing a great deal of change, then recognize your power inside in terms of your multidimensional self. And also that there is a creative source inside that's calling to be used for healing and for deep connection there. So I'm just going to start the meditation. Just connecting in. And I have some light language coming through. To me. 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 Me. Atamete. 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 Blessings for this transmission. This meditation is a meditation for the good of the planet and for humanity as a whole to be blessed with connection and peace. So we're just connecting with the source of life inside. This deep knowing of the root of life. And our ability to translate and feel that which is real. So we're just releasing the illusion on Mother Earth. Bringing the wisdom and the purity of the soul and this deep sensitivity that is our calling into our natural self, inside. One day, so we're just blessing our natural gifts inside. And freeing up the spirit of life as a place of timeless wisdom. The beauty that shines within. And this radiance of light. The golden earth inside. And the beauty of this time beyond illusion. This present moment. And peace. Namaste. Have a beautiful day. And I'll speak to you soon.